All right, so now we're going to add the other colors. There's three of the colors we're going to be adding. I'll show you. We'll be adding a gray color, it looks like, gray stone, a off-white quartzite, and another in a white, which is just white limestone. It says to give these a good shake, not a stir. You don't stir it, you shake it, which is not normal. So we're gonna give it a good shake, and then we're just gonna be pouncing it on with a sponge. I'm gonna open it up with my little trusty, and then it's the instructions say to use paper plates. I'm using styrofoam plates, and let me tell you why to never use paper plates. Paper absorbs the water out, so your paint is going to dry out really quick. You're going to have a much drier paint because the paper is just going to suck all the moisture out of that paint. Sorry, I got a hair in my mouth. So if you use a styrofoam plate, I know not the best for the environment, but you can keep reusing them. That keeps your paint moist and wet. Another option is parchment paper, aluminum foil. That all works too. A plastic area thing, but paper plates, not the best. So I gave this a good shake, but I still see it's kind of separated in color, so I'm gonna put the lid back on and shake it again. So this countertop has dried more than the 8 hours required. I think it's been like 2 days, so it's good. All right, we're gonna dump some of this out onto my plate. It's very surprisingly watery. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet. We will find out. I'm gonna put this paint away. And then I'm gonna take sponge. Just gonna try this one. You're gonna dip it into your paint, and then you're going to all my stuff's covered in dog hair. And then you're just gonna tap it off onto it. You know what? I don't know why this is up. Let's look at, there you go. That's what you wanna look at. And then you're gonna tap it off. And then I'm just gonna pounce it like this all over. I wanna do it in a random pattern. You don't wanna do this where it's the same, because then you've got a pattern and you're not gonna like that. So you wanna do an organic pattern. So you wanna move your hand every which way. And we wanna cover quite a bit of this. Again, you'll be working in, if you're doing this yourself, you're gonna wanna keep the area moist and wet, and you'll be working in 2x2, 2 foot by 2 foot sections. This countertop's pretty small, so I'm just gonna do the whole thing. Now, the only areas that will prove tricky, it's tricky, is where the backsplash meets up with the countertop, and also behind the sink area. So don't forget to do your edge here. Then the edge over here, and then I'm gonna, before I do anything else, okay, so let's kind of get this covered, and then I'll do the smaller areas. I'm gonna put this plate down out of my way. Oh yeah, I was gonna tape my sink off, and I forgot, or my faucet off. And I forgot to do that. So I'm gonna, before I go too far, I'm just gonna wipe up my mess where I got paint on the sink. I'm not using anything special. You can use a wet rag. I'm just happened to pull, I'm in a bathroom, so there's cleaning supplies in here, and I just grabbed a Lysol wipe. Just an artist brush. I'm taking a, oh, maybe I got it over here. A bristle brush, so get some paint on it. And I'm just gonna pounce in some of these areas, like up here. I'm just dabbing it on, trying to mimic the look of the sponge a little bit. And I'm getting into those corners. Oops, that one got a little heavy. Oops, and I'm losing hairs. We're gonna have a hairy countertop. Okay, get into these areas that I couldn't get anything in. I'm gonna get back here and a little bit up here now. If I go this way. All right. So as with all paintings, you should be in an ugly phase. So if it's in an ugly phase, I think we're doing okay because it's looking pretty ugly. And that's usually about the time it looks ugly is in the middle of a project. Next is the next color, which was that cream color. Do I have that here? No, that's primer. Oh, here it is. Again, we're gonna give it a good shake. Shake your baby. And I've got some paint on here I want to get rid of. And then I shake this, open it, and onto a new plate. Okay, and do I have another plate? Yes, I do. I don't really have a place to set any of this shit, which makes it a little difficult. I will use the thing they gave me, which is this. So again, I rolled the paint, dabbed it off on another plain plate, and then you just keep sponging. So can you guys see the difference of the two? So right out of that cream, let's push you back. Meaning you don't let the colors dry in between. Although I don't know why. I mean, it's blending nicely, but you can still get the same effect with a little bit of water on your sponge. So I don't think it's a big deal. If you know anything about paint, if it dries between, you're not screwed. So this big round sponge they gave us, it's a pain in the ass. I know it said to cut it into fours, but then that would have been just way too small. So probably should have just cut it in half. Would have been easier. Because I really can't get into those smaller spaces. So I will have to rip another sponge off. To get back on that, whatever it's called, the backsplash area. So let me get a different sponge for that. Over here, I'm just gonna rip some off the sea sponge. I have a little table right here to put my shit on. Would have been a smart idea. I'm gonna go here. This is perfect, I think. Got a small sponge here, load it with some paint, tap it off, and see what we can do. So definitely the back, I need more paint. The backsplash area, I would think for a novice painter, might be a little more challenging. So you might want to work on smaller sections than this big vanity at once, so you can concentrate on getting back there. Because I can see that posing a problem if this is a project you want to tackle yourself instead of having somebody do it for you. All right, let me try to get back there behind that faucet. I mean, if I was an ace plumber, which I'm not, I would remove the faucet because it's just in my way. I really should have covered it with a baggie. All right, and I'm gonna get a smaller piece for that. So I'm just gonna rip this again, get rid of this sponge. And even smaller, there we go, to get into there. And kind of and then I will go back with the brush too in some of these areas. I just think that'll be easier. I did. Let's do right here. Try to get in here. I'm gonna try to get in this area with the sponge and then just the top area with the brush if I can. You know, the one that, this backsplash curves like this, so it's a lot easier to get into. The one on the side here is it's a separate piece. So it's got a stronger, harsher edge, and that's harder to get into with the sponge, I'm finding. So I will use a brush on that area. And with all things, if you lose too much of the original base color, the background color, you can just sponge some of that on. Right now I'm just using a cheap chip brush. I just had it laying here, so I just grabbed it. Doesn't mean it's the best thing to use, but we will see what we do with it. I'm just lightly pouncing this on. Those areas that you just can't quite reach with the sponge. In here, tap, tap, tap. And that's pretty black, I don't like that. Okay, and then up here, I'm gonna try to get some in here. And then we are adding another color after this, which is just a shade lighter white. Not a lot of difference between them, honestly. And the edge over here. All right, so step back, look to see if there's anything really blocky or funky you want to fix. If you have a big blob of paint or something that just doesn't quite look right, look organic, because it is a natural stone look you're going for. So, you know, you're trying to make it look organic and natural, not man-made. Oops, paint everywhere. And then let me go ahead and do the next color, which is the white.